I really also recommend with the education beyond what we just said, the benefits and the reasons is learning specifically about raw food nutrition. Because if somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, well, what about this?" You feel comfortable and confident and competent in that you are giving yourself what you actually need. Sure, everyone's now read that a properly planned vegan diet is nutritionally adequate and can provide the nutrients for disease reversals or to prevent diseases, and is fit for all stages of life. This is like on the American Dietetic Association, an Australian site, and it's worldwide common knowledge now. But still, a lot of people, if they see you eating big meals of fruit or this or that, they're really can be really frightened for you. And when it's someone you really trust or love, family, friends, or maybe a teacher, it can be disheartening. Or maybe you see other people on the path who aren't doing great or who went back from it to something else, and you start to wonder, oh my God, well, what was it? What were they doing? If you have a good, solid base and understanding in nutrition, if you connect with others who've been doing this for a long term and learn success strategies of those succeeding rather than really focusing on people who didn't succeed, it's good to learn from them. Absolutely. Find out why they didn't succeed. But you can do that oftentimes through learning the basics of nutrition and fine tuning with specifics, right? Like these books, the 80-10-10 diet, I would recommend this as the #1 raw food book, the Raw Food Bible out there. There's a lot of good books on raw food, but I think if we're looking at the big picture and looking at hitting most of the best points, and if someone is just getting started and like, okay, I'm getting into this, what do I need to know? 80-10-10, bar none, I'd say is the best book to read. It really covers a lot of ground from physical, mental, emotional, some scientific stuff, and it looks at it as a lifestyle, not just raw food nutrition, but as a lifestyle. So that's a really good book to read. I also would recommend some of Don Bennett's books, like Avoiding Degenerative Disease and What You Know But Didn't Know. I can't remember the exact right title of that one, but he has a bunch of really good books as well. And I also really like this book here, The Raw Food Nutrition Handbook by Dr. Karen Dina and Rick Dina. It shows that there are different ways to thrive on a raw food diet, or at least to do well on a raw food diet, and it gives you nutritional breakdowns and lots of information. I often find that it's important to note that not everyone has all the answers. Everyone has some strengths, and it's good to have a little bit of a rounded perspective so that you don't feel like you're restricting yourself or that things are black and white. And if you do it this way, you're going to have perfect health. And if you do it just a little bit differently, you're going to die, right? It isn't really like that. So I really hope that these 3 books are in your guys' library, and or you check the library and grab them, because some of them are in there. And from there, continue to grow and learn about holistic nutrition and healthy vegan diets. Holistic nutrition is huge. Most of us are so far off base, at least in society, with nutrition and with how we actually can feed ourselves properly, that it's a huge deal, that it's something to focus on, that it's something to learn. But once we learn about it and we understand the basics of it, we can let that go for a large extent and not be concerned about it. There's a big difference between being conscious of something and being concerned about something. So if we're conscious of something, we might go, okay, well, B12, vitamin D are common potential nutritional issues for vegans, raw foodists, and basically almost anyone on any diet, really. They're non-food related nutrients. But being concerned about it would be like, oh, well, I might not be getting enough, and what if I do this? And like really being that jittery kind of concerned person that brings a lot of worry, a lot of stress, and reduces your whole health reality. Whereas instead being conscious of it, you go, okay, well, what can I do? What can I do? Right? And that's been covered in some other talks, so I'm not going to go super deep into those there. But if I had $1 for every single nutritionist or naturopath or even doctor who was concerned about me on a raw food diet, I wouldn't be rich, but I'd be eating a heck of a lot more really, really good quality mangoes, because it's a fair amount. And those who have gotten to know me, those who have done blood tests on me, those who have done any measurable test on my physical, mental, emotional health, I've said I have amazing, amazing health results, and they can't question it, right? But people are subject to their own education and learning, and they're biased to their own way of living and their own perception and preferences. So most people out there, they're cooked food addicts. It sounds crazy, but that's their framework, that it is what's normal, it's what is needed, and to be eating raw foods is extreme. Now, if you're here, you probably recognize and know that every single animal on the planet has thrived on a raw food diet since their creation, or since they came in or evolved, whatever you want to say. Human beings are no exception. We've been cooking food for less than 1 to 4% of our time on the planet, depending upon who you ask. And even then, it's only been cooking your food for part of the time, So we're designed to thrive on raw foods like every other living being. And if we know how to do it properly with the right education, we can do it. It just takes doing it. It just takes learning it, having the confidence. And when you are unsure, reaching out to those who have the answers and making sure you get satisfied in terms of the information you get, right? Learn from various places, look for trends in the knowledge and find out, right? Be a researcher, just as Don Bennett often says.